what I noticed is that I could talk to my mother, but she didn't seem to hear me. It didn't register. But if I could make her laugh, her eyes sparkled, her body changed, she opened, So yes, exactly. And so, I didn't really know the chemical reasons for that. I just saw it unfold in front of me, and I knew if I can make her laugh, she'll be happy.
Welcome to Zestful Aging, the podcast where we celebrate aging with vibrance and we defy the stereotypes of what it means to age. I'm your host, Nicole Christina, a psychotherapist of more than 30 years, here to introduce you to my off-the-mainstream guests who will energize and inspire you. My hope is to create optimism about getting older and help you cultivate zest and joy in this season of your life. And I love to hear feedback from you, my listeners. Please drop me a line at zestfulaging@gmail.com. I read every single comment. And to find out more about this podcast, hop on over to zestfulaging.com. When is the last time you had a really good belly laugh? Well, most of us haven't had a good laugh in recent memory. Our guest today is Yvonne Conte, who is a nationally recognized keynote speaker, best-selling author, and corporate culture expert who has spent more than 30 years studying the power of humor, laughter, and joy. After experiencing a painful upbringing and relationship with her mother, she found ways to thrive, including prioritizing humor. She's going to talk with us today about laughter's place in our lives, even with the world in turmoil. And we're going to talk about her brand new book, Beneath Your Smile. Welcome to the show, Yvonne.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
It's going to be a fun conversation because we are both sort of Labrador Retriever types, I think. I've seen you. I've seen you on
stage. That's a good one.
Yeah, you got energy, and you are one zestful woman.
Thank you.
So the crux, I believe, and you can correct me, is that we just do not kind of prioritize humor, prioritize laughter, even though it is biologically beneficial for us both physically and mentally. And I would imagine, and I know you have something to say about this, especially as we age. Can you speak to that?
Well, to be quite honest with you, the older I get, the more I can laugh about the things that happen in life. So I think as we age, it's even easier. For instance, okay, I have not dated in decades, and I'm not lying. My last affair, if you want to call it that, was 1999. So that's not a lie. That's the truth. But recently, I started seeing someone, and I'm telling you, I'm 74, he's 75. We laugh about everything. I mean, we laugh about, oh my gosh, it's just such a pleasure to be with someone who can look at life. And here we are, two elderly people.
We don't use that word anymore, Yvonne.
Well, I do, because it's the truth,
Yeah.
And we're able to laugh at our little aches and pains and things. Like I woke up in the morning, my arm was in pain. I have no idea what happened. What happened to me while I was sleeping? You know what I mean? It's like ridiculous. So we just laugh about it. But there's something about being able to see the silly in every situation. And I think the more you do it, the more you'll be able to do it. But I know a lot of people are in a place today where they don't see anything funny. Mm-hmm. And my advice to them is, first and foremost, yes, we need to know what's going on in the world. but we don't need to know 24 hours a day.
Oh, amen on that.
You know,
Could you
because
say, tell me more, Yvonne. You are right in my
well,
wheelhouse here.
that's the problem. We have access because of technology. We have
Mm-hmm.
access every minute of every day, and we need to
Mm.
discipline yourself. Say, all right, I'm going to scroll, but I'm only scrolling for 6 minutes, and then I'm done. You know,
There are
give
apps for that keep us off of our feeds. It is so addictive, Yvonne.
it is, yeah.
I know they. I did an interview with a woman who is an eye doctor, and listen to this, and you may have something funny to say about this. And I never imagined this. When we scroll, we don't blink enough because our brains are just like, what's that? What's that shiny thing? What's that
Exactly.
flashing? What's
Yeah,
that? And
yeah,
it causes, ultimately, if you don't blink enough, it causes eye problems because
yeah.
our
There you
eyes.
go.
So, like, what are we doing?
I know. So what I do is I set limits for myself, and I think we have to discipline ourselves more, especially
Mm,
today. So listen, I want to know what's going on in the world because it's important. So I do. I happen to like the 6:30 news on regular television. So I watch that 1/2 hour and then I turn it off. That tells me the basic things that are happening in the world. Truth be told, if anything really important happened, it would be all over your Facebook page and you'd be
mm,
seeing it anyway. So it's just not that important to constantly be looking
mm,
at the news. It's very
mm,
depressing and it's just not good for you mentally or physically.
mhm,
And so I think the biggest thing you have to learn is that you have to discipline yourself. Now, I'm
mhm,
not saying everybody has to watch the 6:30 news. You might have a certain podcast that you like to listen to, or you might have, a certain. See, I'm not a big TV person, so I don't even have cable. Can you believe it in this day and age? I
mhm.
get
I'm
I
right
get
there with you, sister.
I get two channels on my
Yep,
TV, and that's it. Two local
right.
channels. That's it. And they don't even come in clear. so so that's it for me. And as far as social media goes, you know I love Facebook because I'm able to connect with so many dear friends from all over the
Yes.
country and from my family that's across the pond. So uh, I like it and I enjoy it, and it's also a great way to stay connected to different clients and people that I've worked for in the past. But if you spend more than 10 minutes a day on Facebook, you're missing out on life.
Mm.
You're missing out on life because let's face it, what you see on Facebook is people trying to show you that their life is great. But the truth is, their life is just like everybody else's. We have ups, we have downs.
Mhm.
It's not great all the time. It just isn't. That's impossible. So the picture of you having a fantastic time with all of your girls at the such
Mhm.
and such club. Yeah, that happens once in a while. It doesn't happen every day. Every day we have to pay
Mm.
bills, we have to clean the house,
Mhm.
we have to take those hard water spots out of the toilet. You know what I mean? There's things that happen that are
Yeah.
just part of life that are frustrating and so forth. Um, I just made a decision. I'll be honest with you. When I was 8 years old, and I know that people say, "How do you make a decision at that age and have it last the rest of your life?" But it just did. There was a lot of sadness in my life at 8 years old, and I
Mhm.
chose to make my mom laugh. I noticed that when I could make her laugh, her troubles seemed to dissipate.
Would you imagine that she was depressed, Yvonne?
I think my mother had to deal with a lot of things and she had no one to talk to about it. And
Mhm.
in those days, you kept anything negative a secret.
Yes.
In those days, you didn't blab about, isn't it interesting? It's kind of like our Facebook today. You don't put your negative stuff on Facebook, you put all the positive stuff.
Mm.
And so
Mhm.
my mom was an absolutely drop dead gorgeous woman.
Mhm.
She had impeccable manners. She was full of grace, but she had a heartache inside of her that was devastating. and she
Mhm.
just kept it to herself. And there were, I grew up with four sisters or three sisters and myself, and I was the only one that noticed that sadness in her. And I remember one time after a very difficult, I was 8 years old, and I came home from school, and my snack wasn't on the table, and mommy wasn't in the kitchen. That was a huge difference for me. So I asked my dad, and he said, "Oh, she's not feeling well. She's upstairs. I'll get your snack." But that day I noticed, oh my gosh, what's wrong with mommy? So
Mhm.
in bed that night, I asked my sister, who was 2 years older than me, I said, "What do you think is wrong with them?" And she goes, "Who?" I said,
Mhm.
"Who? Mommy and daddy. They're not acting normal." And she goes, "They're probably tired." It didn't even dawn on her. But
Mhm.
but I noticed. And
You
so,
weren't you were much more tuned in.
yeah, I was always a curious kid.
Mhm.
And you couldn't tell me to do something unless you explained why. I was that kid. I was the why
Mm.
kid.
Mhm.
The one that drove you nuts. But anyway, what I noticed is that I could talk to my mother, but she didn't seem to hear me. It didn't register. But if I could make her laugh, her
Mm.
eyes sparkled, her
Mhm.
body changed, she opened, you know?
She
So
relaxed, it sounds like.
yes, exactly. And
Uh-huh.
so, I didn't really know the chemical reasons for that. I just saw it unfold in front of me, and I knew if I can make her laugh, she'll be happy. So, like, I used to watch. I don't know how old you are, but I used to watch the Ed Sullivan Show all the time, and
Mhm.
he always had a comedian on, and I would watch the night shows. I'd sit upstairs by the staircase and watch the TV shows at night where my mother and father would watch, and there was always a comedian, and I would learn how to imitate them. So I could imitate all the comedians from that day and age. I remember imitating Popo Gigio, the little Italian mouse. Eddie,
Mhm.
kiss me goodnight, And my mother would just roar. She thought it was hysterical.
It was your way of connecting with her.
That's exactly what humor does.
Well, hi, Zesties. In addition to being a podcaster and psychotherapist, I'm an avid thrifter. And I think it's something you either love or you hate. I've always loved finding treasures, and it makes me happy to keep things out of the landfill. You may already know that fast fashion is a real scourge on the environment. And I have a few podcast episodes that explore this. One of my favorites is with Eric Minter, who's the world's authority on the secondhand market. His book, Secondhand, is really recommended. And here I'm digressing. The reality is that I love to thrift, but I also like to wear the same basic outfit. So I've started an account on eBay I wanted to tell you about. Here's a humble brag. I have an eye for quality pieces. Linen and cashmere are my favorites, and I'd love you to check it out. Go on eBay and type in Nikki's Thrifty, and it's NICKY apostrophe S Thrifty with a Y, and see what you think. I'd love your feedback.
I want you to think about this. If you're in line at the grocery store, rarely do you even look at the person in front of you or behind you, and certainly not in their eyes. But if some little kid does something funny while they're in that line
Mm.
that makes you laugh, all of a sudden everyone in that line is looking at each other and laughing.
Mhm.
And we're
Mhm.
connecting. We're connecting.
Mhm.
The way
Yes, that's
yeah,
fascinating, and I wonder what
yeah.
it means about evolution and in a sense, like, why that's part of our hardwiring as humans.
Well, think about this. On this earth, we are the only species that has the ability to laugh at something that is funny. Now, there are hyenas, which they laugh all the time, but they're not laughing at something funny. They don't recognize what's funny. Only human beings can do that. Why do you
Mhm.
think that is?
Boy, trying to think about my developmental psychology courses. You're gonna have to
Well,
tell me.
I think, you know, I'm a woman that is full of faith. I'm a faith-filled woman, and I believe when he created us, he gave us that tool to get through life.
Oh, I see. So you're saying it's like a coping tool. It's a
It's
mechanism.
definitely is a coping
I
mechanism.
see. I see.
Yeah. And I'm not, please don't misunderstand. I'm not saying, oh, I lost my job. Well, that's hysterical. Blah, blah, blah. No, of course not. Or oh, I have cancer. Let's just laugh it off. No, of course not. There are some serious things that happen in our life,
Mhm.
and laughing at them is not going to cure them or fix them. What
Although
I'm
you talk about Norman Cousins.
Yes, and he was definitely, but see, his message wasn't that it's going to cure
Okay.
cancer. It was that it's going to help you along the road.
I
It's going to
see.
help you to get there. And there've been a lot of, um, what do you call tests, or I don't know, research. Research is the word I was looking for, that tells us that people who have, let's say you broke your hip, you're in the hospital and you're trying to recover. Those that can laugh 3 to 5 times, every hour, and that's a lot, but those that can laugh heal quicker than those that don't laugh.
Mm,
Because when you're
mhm.
concentrating on the pain,
Yes.
that's telling your brain, I'm in pain, I'm in pain.
Yes, it
You know?
reinforces it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, every one of us knows someone that when you say, how are you? They actually tell you. Nobody really wants to know. I mean, I was with a family member one time. We were at the mall and we ran into somebody we hadn't seen in a long time. And she goes, oh my goodness, how are you girls? And the family member I was with proceeded to tell her every negative thing that was happening in her life.
Oh boy.
And you could see the woman, like her eyes were like, oh my God, when is this going to be over? you know?
I see.
Yeah, the answer is fine. Thank you. How are you? That's the answer. Now,
Mhm.
if you're with a dear close friend or relative that sincerely wants to know how you are, that's different. That's different. But when
Mhm.
you're with a casual person that says, how are you? You don't have to dump all your negative stuff on them.
Mhm. Mhm.
And quite honestly, it just reminds you about your negative stuff. So,
Mm. It
you
sounds
know,
like there's this, I don't know if it's Buddhist, or I think the audience will know what I'm talking about, is where do you shine your flashlight?
oh, I like that. That's good.
Like
Yeah.
there's crap, we know it, and then there's, we talked off mic about living in upstate New York and how much we appreciate the sun. It's like when
Yeah.
the sun comes out, we all run outside because it's kind of a
Yeah.
rarity, and we've been waiting for it for 6 months.
Sure. Sure.
And so where do we shine the flashlight? Like, what a beautiful day, or finally, it's been
Well,
so crappy out.
well, here's a great way to start. I have been doing something for years. I have a journal. It's right beside my bed. And before I go to bed at night, I write 5 things that brought me joy. Now, they can be big, they can be small, they can seem insignificant. Let's say one of my grandsons actually texts me back. Yeah, that's a joy. That's a real joy because they
Mm,
don't, kids don't do that today. So, like, if I get a response from my grandsons or my granddaughter, I feel like that's a huge joy in my life. So that goes down. Hey, Jack responded. All he said was, thanks, Noni, but that's okay. It's something.
mhm, mhm.
Or, okay, this wonderful man that I've been seeing, he came to visit Monday. He lives 2.5 hours away, so we don't see each other a lot. That in itself is a joy because I don't want to see him every single day. But
You want
anyway,
absence makes the heart grow fonder plan.
yes, it does. But here's the thing. we were laughing and saying, well, what can we do? What can we do on Monday when you come? And he said, well, I've got some great DVDs. They're movies I haven't seen in a long time. I can't bear to throw them away. So let's play a couple DVDs. We'll make popcorn and we'll just relax and enjoy the day. Okay, great. So I hang up the phone and I go over to my TV and I'm like, oh crap, I don't have a DVD player. So so I went to like 5 different stores to see if I could find one. I finally found one at Walmart. I bought the thing. I brought it home. I hooked it up. He arrives at my door. He forgot to bring the DVDs. So we talked all day long. And let me tell you something. That was so great to not have anything on. There was no TV. There was no computer, no phones. We turn our phones off when we're together. And I'll text my daughter and I'll say, Aubrey, Bruce is coming over today. My phone will be off from X this time to this time, you know? So, and then she texted back, so what are you going to be doing that the phone is off? I told her nothing at all but enjoying each other's company. So, you know, we talked all day and we just enjoyed each other. We talked about politics. We talked about our children, our grandchildren. We talked about our parents who are all gone at this time of our age. We talked about growing up and how things happen. Let me tell you something. The best thing you can do is to get to know someone else by just talking with them. Turn off all the devices. They have kept us from enjoying each other's company.
Yes. Oh, we're all walking around. It's so interesting when you are at any kind of event, you know, people are all in their phones. And I
know.
just
It
thought,
just drives
like,
me nuts.
no, you know, I think back before cell phones, we'd be, you know, how do you like the performance? You know, much more. But it's really changed our whole way of being human.
Yes, but we have the opportunity to turn the clocks back a little bit, even if it's just for ourselves. So, like,
Yeah.
you know, we said when we're together, all of the gadgets are going to be off.
No screens. Yeah.
Nothing. And so, listen, there was a time in life when we did not have someone able to get us every second of every day, and we all survived it. Okay? Now, would I ever get in my car without my cell phone? No, because that's a safety. You know, you need that. We did. We used to drive around without seat belts, without
I was
phones.
just going to say that. We didn't have
did.
seatbelts either.
We did. And you know, we did okay. But in this day and age, I do think it's important. You got to take some precautions for safety. But when you're in your own home and you're with people, don't be looking at your phone. That's like saying you're not that important to me.
Yes. You know what? I'm really, as a therapist, I'm trying to sort of distill this and understand, you know, kind of the message here. And I think what I'm hearing, and tell me if I'm right about this, Yvonne, is that you have an opportunity to create a higher quality life than just sort of bumbling along. That you can make choices like cell phone isn't going to be my partner. I'm going to find humor. For me, it's I've got to get out in nature to calm my nervous system. That you're talking about, I think, being much more intentional about how you live your life, and emphasizing humor, of course, is your way of understanding this. But I hear you saying, don't just bumble along kind of unconsciously, not saying, hey, how do I want my life to look?
You know, my father used to say, don't follow the crowd, be the leader. And that stuck with me. And so I don't do things just because everybody else does. I do things that make my life better. And you said you love to be out in nature. That makes your life better. And I get that because I love to be out in nature as well. My son lives in San Francisco, and every time I go there, I know I don't have to bring any fancy clothes because all we're going to do is go hiking.
Yeah, yeah, I love
You
your
know,
stories about
I,
your son being a
yeah,
total eco hippie and
he
not wearing the
is. He
Yeah, I
is.
love
He's a
that.
great
I
guy.
really enjoyed that. Yeah, so there's something about choice here. Like
Exactly.
I have
It's all about the choice. It's
okay.
all about choice. I went even as a kid, I chose to try to do whatever I could to see that smile on my mother's face. And I
Mm,
learned how important laughter was.
mhm.
Now, I was always the funny kid all through life. I was the class clown my senior year in high school. I was voted class clown.
Mhm.
So it's always been the way that I connect with people. Listen, I went to 12 different schools in my lifetime.
Mhm.
From kindergarten to senior year, 12 schools. That's a new school every year. You know how hard it is to make
Ugh,
friends when
I
you're the
can't
new kid?
imagine. I
It's
can't.
impossible unless you can be funny. If you can be funny, you connect. So all along my life, I was learning how important this tool of laughter is.
Mhm.
And I've never been the kind of comic that, like, I'm not a Don Rickles comic. I'm not going to mock you or pick on you. I'm going to look at life and see the funny in it and make sure that you see it too. That it's there. It's everywhere. I'm in the grocery store with Christian, my oldest grandson. He was probably about 14 at the time. And he was helping me get the stuff on the list. And he was in the toilet paper line. And I told him what to get. He picks it up. He goes, Noni, I don't think we want this. I said, why, honey? He goes, it's made from recycled paper. We just died laughing. I said, put that
Oh.
down right now. You know, just little things like that. I mean,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it's not just about the silly. Another time I was shopping with my grandson Jack. He was probably 6 or 7, and he was in the cart. We were at Target, and everything I picked up apparently had the word joy on it. I remember
Oh.
I bought some little towels that said joy. I had, and so all of a sudden he goes, Noni, do you know that everything you like has the word joy on it? I said, really? I didn't notice that. He goes, yep. And that was it. That
Mm.
was in September. That Christmas, that kid bugged his mother until she took him to that store where kids can make stuff. I forget what it's a craft store. And he made a little box, wooden box, and on the top it just had the word joy. And he
Mm.
said, Mom, we got to make something for Noni that says joy on it. That's her favorite word,
Oh,
and he did, and I still have it. I'm looking at it
I
right now.
bet.
It's in my office. It's where I keep my, the things you want to finish before the end of your life. What do you call that? Your do it list or something like that. The things that, like, I want to go. There's this great bookstore in New York City. I want to see things you want to do. It's on your list.
Oh,
That's what
your
I keep.
bucket? Like a
My
bucket
bucket. Yeah,
list?
my
Oh, yeah,
bucket
yeah.
list is in there. Yeah, because those are things that are going to bring me joy. But so it's not just about being the office clown or always telling jokes. I never tell jokes because I can never remember the endings of them. But it's about being able to look at life differently.
Mhm.
Look at life differently and see the things that bring you joy, see the things that make you smile, and do them more often. That's what it's
Mm.
about. And
It's
it's a
noticing, right? It's noticing.
being aware,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think of things that are funny all the time. Sometimes they're not, uh, they're too obscene for me to speak about.
Mm.
Sometimes I'll be out and I'll see somebody and I'll think of something that, oh gosh, I better not say that out loud, but it makes me laugh. But just being able to notice. I listen. What people should do is when they are by themselves, go in the bathroom, look in the mirror, and think of something that really ticks you off, and give yourself a big frown in that mirror and look really angry.
Mhm.
Then take a deep breath, give yourself a big toothy smile if you still have your teeth, and think about something that brings you joy or makes you laugh. You will notice your body it releases something. When you go from a
Mhm.
frown to a smile, you become more, oh, your body just seems to rise.
Mm.
You're giving yourself the opportunity to be happy when you do those things. Take the frown and smile. There's a difference between a frown and a smile, and you can feel it.
I
If
think
you,
that energy also, um, if you can find these things that balance out some of the horrors of our world, you can be more effective, right? I mean, if I'm so depressed because I'm scrolling all day and
yeah,
seeing who's
yeah,
doing
yeah,
what and who's stealing and who's
yep.
corrupt and who's all this stuff, it's paralyzing.
Well, what you need to do is this, and it's not just, it's in every situation, but especially I had my son called me so depressed about some of the things that are going on in the world. And I said, John, here's what you do. You look at this situation and you think to yourself, what do I have the power to do to make
Mhm.
this better? And there's only three things. You have the power to vote, so make sure your vote counts. You have the power to pray, so pray that things go the way they are supposed to go. And you also have the power, oh, what was the third? Oh, to protest the things that you don't agree with. That's all
Mhm.
you have control over. You really don't
Yes.
have, because let's face it, no matter what you post online, you're not changing anybody's mind.
That is for sure.
That
Wait,
is a
don't even waste your time.
it is a huge waste of time.
Yep.
It only makes people more angry. Quit posting things online about politics. It doesn't do any good.
Right, and I think it just revs you up, right?
Yeah. If you want to help the situation, post things online that will bring people, that will raise people up. Post something online that made you smile that day. Post something online. Oh, what I love the best are these little snippets of little kids giggling. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. If nothing else, if you are a depressed person, and there are a lot of
Mhm.
people that suffer from depression, I would suggest that you go online and you find, you can do it on YouTube. They have, just put children giggling and you'll have a ton of little
Mhm.
things.
Especially with pets.
Yeah,
When
or
they
with
like,
pets.
you'll see little toddlers, on all fours on the floor and, like, their dog's licking them or something, and they're just howling,
Yeah,
howling.
but what I'm saying is, first thing in the morning, before you do anything else, put that video on and listen to those giggles. Listen to those giggles and it will change the way you feel. And if you're severely depressed, of course I want you to get, the proper help. But I will tell you, if you keep music on, if you have flowers around in your home, fresh flowers, if you listen to watch these videos 2 or 3 times during the day, it does help to lift your spirits. Right now, one of my neighbors, oh, she was such a sweetheart. I had a book launch party for just my special friends, and she came over and she brought this balloon. You've seen them in the grocery stores. It's just a big yellow smile with the smile
Mhm.
face on, and that was like a week and a half ago. That darn thing is still standing up straight. I tied it to one of my chairs in my office, right by the window. And so it just reminds me. I mean, it's just such a wonderful way to keep things around you that keep you smiling, that keep you
Mhm.
happy, that remind you of good things. Now, that reminds me of the party we had. It reminds me of my good friends that were here. It reminds me that she was thoughtful enough to do that for me. Listen, we just have to do the best we can with what we have. I know for me, listen, I have not had the best life. I know people who know me now think, what a fortunate woman. She's done
Mm.
so well. She's blah, blah,
Mhm.
blah. It's not always been that way, but I've always kept the attitude that I'm not going to dwell on the bad thing that happened. I'm going to look forward to something that's good.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
changed the direction of my life. It always has. Um, I know
Is
that,
that how you pick your friends too, Yvonne? Are your friends also of a similar, mindset?
yes, the answer to that is yes. That is how I pick my friends. But
Mhm.
the Lord picks our family members. And I have certain family members that I love with all my heart, but they do dwell on negativity.
Mm-hmm.
And for the longest time, because my job as a keynote speaker was to help people find the positive power of humor, I would try to help them. I would say, you need to do this, this, and this. That was when I was in my 40s and 50s. I have learned people who are in that way, they don't really want your help. It seems. Maybe it's just because we're family. So I've learned to keep my mouth shut and just be a good example. But there's a lot to that as well. I mean, you can, when you're around someone who seems to dwell in the negative, like for instance, if somebody calls me, a cousin, or calls me and says, "Oh, I spent the whole day taking care of my grandchildren. I'm exhausted." I would say, "Oh, how wonderful that she trusts you to take care of those children. How wonderful." And they grow up so darn fast. I remember taking care of mine, and now they're all pretty much adults. And I'll tell you, I wish I had one day when I could, giggle with the little ones, just something like that.
Yes.
Just try to turn it around and show them how they should be so grateful to be able to take care of their grandchildren. Or, I don't know. I just think it's a pity to live your life looking only at the negative. You're missing out on so much joy.
Talk a little bit about your brand new book and where people can find it.
Well, it is titled Beneath Her Smile, and it is available wherever books are sold worldwide. If you do go to Amazon and purchase your book there, would you please write a review? And just, whatever you truly feel about this book would be helpful to me. But the book, I started writing it in 2019. My mom passed away, and it made me reflect on my life. I think when you lose your parents, for some reason, you start to look at your life more clearly. And I did that. And in the process, I wanted to make sure I had all the facts, and I went back and talked to aunts and uncles that were still with us. And I found some secrets that were hidden in my childhood. And when I found those secrets, it was like, you have that box that people get for Christmas, and you open it up and all the money flies out. We've seen this recently. It was as if that box had my childhood in it. And when I understood the secrets, just butterflies just flew out of that box and made life so clear to me. I was able to understand. Yeah, I was able to understand the pain that my mother was going through. I was able to understand my father more clearly. And what I found in the process was what a strong woman my mother was, and how dearly and truthfully she loved us all with more love than I can even imagine. In many ways, I had to forgive myself because I was a rotten little kid, which was why I went to 12 different schools. I kept getting expelled. But the memoir, it takes you from the time I was 8 years old until now, shows you how I became a stand-up comic, how I became a motivational speaker, how I became an author, and how all of those things were connected to that little girl at 8 years old who learned that when you can make a person laugh, you give them the greatest gift on earth, even if it's just for a moment. So if anybody is looking at their past and feeling anything at all that needs to be forgiven, or that you want to move forward from, or that you want to understand better, this would be a good book to look at.
So it's Beneath Her Smile. Yvonne, where can people find out more about, because you've written many books and you have programs, you have keynotes.
Oh, thank you.
Great photos with the red clown nose.
Yes. I think the best thing to do, if you want to get in touch with me or if you want to learn more about me, is go to my website. It is Yvonne yvonne-conte.com. So it's YVONNE-CONTE.com. And man, just send me a note. I'll respond. I respond to everybody. That I don't have people that respond. I respond. Okay. And if you want to buy the book directly from me so I can sign it for you, do it through the website.
That's
just go
beautiful.
there.
Yeah.
Just go there and send me a note with your address and I'll send it out to you. Yeah.
Sounds great. Oh, Yvonne, it was such a delight speaking to you today.
Thank you so much.
It's been such a pleasure.
It has. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for joining us on Zestful Aging. If you like the podcast, please share it with some of your friends.
Our theme song is All I Did Was Wait for You by Kjartan Abel. Visit Kjartan-Abel, that's KJARTAN-Abel, ABEL.com to hear more of Kjartan's work. And our technical director is Stephen Litweiler.
And stay tuned next week for another interview with a fascinating and inspiring guest. See you then.